Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, January 20th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Monday holiday edition of Weaponized News. Let me get out of the way up front here. For our audience out there wondering about where Simon is, I did get a message from him today. He's still recovering from his illness. I don't want to say that much more about it. I'll let him explain if he wants to. We used to have medical privacy. People used to honor it and not put it on Front Street, in large part before the medical intervention period. Then they put it all over television and said how great it is to do these untested medical treatments. As we all know, we lived through all that. And so they totally destroyed medical privacy there. But hey, HIPAA, right? And so they cite HIPAA when they want to, and they laugh in your face when they don't. So it's all selective enforcement, all by design, because they don't give a damn about your privacy. But anyway, I personally do like to respect people's privacy and would like mine respected as well. So I can tell you that, Simon, I'll just tell you that he told me he's barely getting his voice back. Said he lost his voice amongst other health issues that he had during this illness. And also, I'll leave it at that. Hopefully we can get him back this week on the show. But I did, like I said, get a text message from him, and you can go to his X account, and he has put out a few posts today. So that's what's going on with co-host Professor Simon, as he's known on George Galloway's show. Here we just call him Simon Says, from Flory to his X handle. Anyway, sorry I missed yesterday, guys. I had other work to attend to that I had to do, so I couldn't do the show because I put in a good day of prep, 2.5, 3 hours of prep, reading the news, going over videos, trying to figure out what the heck, because I produce my own show. I don't have a producer. It's just me, right? So I'm the producer, the talent, everything here. And that's why I'm 100% independent, uncensored. Nobody's telling me what to say, except for I have to self-censor due to I know that I don't want to be banned again. And so that is going on. But as far as who's picking these stories and tying together the narrative for the show, it's all me. So anyway, I didn't have time to produce the show yesterday. So that's why I missed you guys yesterday on the Sunday broadcast. Apologies again. Thank you for tuning in today, though, as we got a lot going on. The inauguration of Trump 47 here now. Some shenanigans going on there. Some odd reason Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible when he was swearing in. I don't know what that's about. Melania was holding the Bible there, but he didn't put his hand on it for some odd reason. I don't know if he did or not. Maybe that's just another, fake news hoax. But it's being reported he didn't put his hand on the Bible, so we'll have to track that and make sure that's not another hoax. So him, J.D. Vance are sworn in today. What do we got? We got Clinton showed up there, Bill and Hillary. They got booed, surprisingly. We got the tech bro oligarchs all lined up there, so that's good. That is very good. The billionaires are all there to bring in technocracy, scientific dictatorship, dare I say. But I'm feeling patriotic today. The intro song is going to be the national anthem. What the hell? Let me have one day of feeling patriotic about America, even though I know. And, let's hold Trump to it, to his patriotic rhetoric, and not let him get away with any shenanigans and not just look the other way. I can never forgive him for Operation Warp Speed. So we need to see something, man. major reforms. Of course, Biden pardoned Fauci today. I don't know why you would pardon him if he didn't do anything wrong. I guess at the very least, they know that he did perjure himself in front of Congress, which is a felony. I think punishable up to like 5 years. And so amongst his myriad of other crimes, I mean, you could just screw even the people, right? Because nobody likes people. Everybody says, yeah, screw all the people they got. And, the miracles, the greatest thing ever. All of their treatments, the greatest thing ever. What about the animal abuse that we know that Fauci did as head of public health in this country? Just the animal abuse alone, he needs like 20 years in prison. Forget all of his myriad of other crimes against humans. But so, Biden pardoned Fauci. Milley. Why would Milley need a pardon? It's the greatest, general in American history. And then he pardoned his whole family. We got a whole list of all on the way out there. Some of them hopefully help to wake people up more. And so people are like, hey, Fauci saved my life. Why is he getting a pardon? So we got that to go over. Trump's taking action already, signing a bunch of executive orders. We'll get to that. He's probably signing them right now, actually, as I speak. So allegedly, there's a laundry list of 200 executive orders. Fox News is reporting 200 executive orders on day one. I did the search to prepare for the show, and I got a list so far of 15. But hey, he's signing them fast and furious here. So we'll have more about that tomorrow as it develops, all the executive orders on day one. Some interesting videos coming out of there. People are alleging that old Eric Trump's up there flashing Illuminati gang signs. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. They tell you, if you're like in public, because he's doing this one, right? Standing there. It's like standing there like this. I'll show you the video, but they train these people that if you're like in public on the stage, you got to do something with your hands so you're not fidgeting. So it may just be that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But his wife told him, hey, you're flashing Illuminati hand signals. Maybe, allegedly. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we got that. It's kind of bizarre. You got Zuckerberg looking down. What's his name's? Bezos's old lady shows up in lingerie, like top to the inauguration. There's video of Zuckerberg sneaking a peek at her cleavage. Pretty funny. He is showing signs of being a human. Hey, maybe Zuckerberg is a human after all. So that kind of ridiculous, trivial stuff, but it's kind of funny. A little bit from Trump, some excerpts of his speeches today. Then we got some more about the LA fires. What are we on? Day 13, I think now. Day 13. There's still more coming out about the LA fires. Of course, the weather, the whole country's freezing. So global warming's doing a good job. We got Davos day one. Not much on day one. They did like artist celebrations, whatever, but they one of their main meetings here, key themes, is rebuilding trust. Well, why would you need to rebuild trust? I mean, you guys saved us. You continue to save us. You continue to save the world economy. You save us from anything wrong, from all the crisis that you engineer. You save us. You know what I mean? So I don't know why they would think they need to rebuild trust, but that's one of their key themes of this year's World Economic Forum Davos meeting kicking off today. We do have a couple videos from that, but it was like they're honoring, what's it even called? Today wasn't the, today was the Crystal Awards. And so it's kind of fluff. They weren't saying how they want to enslave everybody, make you eat bugs, put you in a pod, and carry out the forced depopulation. They didn't get to that today, but that's coming. Don't worry about it. What else we got? Aardvarks. There is no, as I said when it happened, and it didn't take much to figure out. Everybody knew that. I was paying attention. The ceasefire that wasn't, they're still killing people. So I guess in the new definition of things, killing people is a ceasefire now. So they're still killing Palestinians. So that's a ceasefire. We got other aardvark news. Surprisingly, Ben Gvir has resigned in protest. And so we'll go over that a little bit. And then to wrap up the show, as we've been doing as I've been doing solo here, we got a series of documentaries. Or it's a documentary, but it's like old school, back when you could only upload like 10-minute videos to YouTube. So anyway, it's The Road to Scientific Dictatorship, and it's largely readings from Lord Bertrand Russell and Sir Julian Huxley. And so this is like coming out of the 40s, 50s, and it's pretty well put together, I think. And so just take a listen and look where we are. And these are like top social engineers in the old Anglo-American Venetian establishment telling us, big surprise, they're implementing their social engineering policies today. So a little bit of history about that, if you wanted to know about where's all this insanity coming from. These are two big key players, architects in the whole scientific dictatorship that we're finding ourselves in. So I find it very interesting. I hope you will too. Let me get to this day in history. On this day of January 20th, in the year 1869, we saw the first woman testify before Congress, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. In 1887, the U.S. Senate approves naval base lease of Pearl Harbor, later bombed by the Japanese, to get the United States into World War II. So we do appreciate that. In 1920, the American Civil Liberties Union was founded. Were they always commies? Probably. Maybe at one time or another, they did actually stand up for our civil liberties, but now it feels like they just, every commie cause, they want to go ahead and fight. And so it feels like they've really fallen off and dropped the ball there at defending our civil liberties here. In America, they're mum the word during the medical intervention period when our civil liberties is the worst violation of my lifetime. And probably, you know what I'm saying? But hey, ACLU is saving our civil liberties. Let me tell you. In 1930, the first radio broadcast of the Lone Ranger was broadcast in Detroit, Michigan. In 1937, the first U.S. president inauguration was held on today, January 20th. It was moved from March 4th, where it had previously always been held on that date. In 1942, Wannsee Conference of Nazis met to organize the final solution. In 1945, FDR was sworn in for his fourth term as president. In 1961, JFK was inaugurated. In 1973, Nixon was inaugurated. In 1977, George H.W. Bush ended his term as the 11th director of the CIA. In 1979, 1 million Iranians marched in Tehran for exiled Ayatollah Khomeini. In 1980, President Carter, bless his soul, announced U.S. boycott of Moscow Olympics. In 1981, Ronald Reagan was inaugurated. Also in 1981, U.S. diplomats and citizens released from U.S. Embassy in Tehran after being held hostage for 444 days. This is alleged now, right? And I think I saw something where it was a rubber bat. But anyway, allegedly in 1982, Ozzy Osbourne bit off the head of a bat on stage in Des Moines, Iowa. But I want to say I remember an interview with him where he said it was a rubber bat. Anyway, that's some urban myths out there for you. In 1986, Martin Luther King Jr. Day was named a federal holiday. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Government killed him. We'll go over that too a little bit. In 1989, George H.W. Bush, former director of the CIA, was inaugurated as president of the United States. Nothing wrong there at all. Nothing shady about that at all. Former CIA director becoming president. In 1993, Bill Clinton was inaugurated as president. In 2001, George W. Bush, the younger, was inaugurated president on this day. Nothing wrong with that either. Shouldn't ask any questions about that. In 2009, Barack Hussein Obama, otherwise known as Barry Soetoro, was inaugurated as president. 2017, 45 Trump was inaugurated president. In 2021, Biden was inaugurated president, allegedly. In 2025, today, Trump 47 is inaugurated as president. Let me play the intro, and then we'll get right to all this news for you. Here's an instrumental of the national anthem. Well, we're still here, no matter how corrupt and insane it all is. We're still here, America. So yeah, MLK Jr. filed a civil lawsuit where, let me read this right to you. And you can't, it's hard to even find this reporting, man. They scrubbed the internet of this stuff. But his family filed a wrongful death lawsuit brought against Lloyd Jowers and other unspecified conspirators, including elements within the U.S. government. And so, of course, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. The official narrative initially pointed to James Earl Ray as the lone gunman who confessed to the crime but later recanted his confession. The lawsuit in 1999, the King family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Lloyd Jowers, a Memphis cafe owner, and other unknown co-conspirators. Jowers had claimed on television that he was involved in a conspiracy to kill King, implicating government agencies, though these claims lacked substantial evidence. allegations that the Memphis Police Department, the FBI, and the CIA and organized crime conspired to assassinate King. The trial included testimonies from various individuals, including some who claimed to have direct or indirect knowledge of the conspiracy. However, much of the evidence presented was circumstantial or anecdotal. The verdict in December of 1999, a jury in Memphis concluded after an hour of deliberation that Jowers and others, including governmental agencies, were part of a conspiracy that resulted in King's death. The jury awarded the King family $100, which was symbolic as the case was more about uncovering the truth than financial compensation. While the verdict was a significant acknowledgement of conspiracy theories surrounding King's assassination, it did not lead to further legal actions or official investigations by federal authorities into these claims. Surprising. So there's that. It goes on, but that's the, jury ruled that there was a conspiracy and the government was part of it to kill Martin Luther King Jr. So, and like I said, it's hard to find articles about it. Usually when you search this AI Gronk on X, it'll cite articles that it's pulling the information from. And it did not do that when I did this search, interestingly enough. So, like I said, they scrub this. You might be able to find new articles about it now, but I remember, what was that? There was I want to say, Examiner, something like this. There was like you could get alternative, I want to say like around 2005, 6, something like this on the internet. There was a website that was like called the Examiner, I want to say. And it would have this kind of, conspiracy type stuff on there. And I want to say that's where I originally saw that. And it had like the court documents and everything. Because when you say, oh, the government killed them, well, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, even though there was a conspiracy and it's not a theory. The jury ruled, right, that it was indeed such. But anyway, it's getting out there now again. And so, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The government killed him, or conspired with others to kill him, to be even more precise. Okay, on to Trump inauguration. So, is it all just political theater? It appears. I don't know. We're going to see. We're tracking what Trump's doing here. So, Biden administration, they tried to throw Trump in jail. Democrats, maybe not directly, but indirectly from his administration. I mean, they did all this lawfare against Trump. On and on it goes. When he was vice president under Obama, they spied on him. They did Russiagate. On and on and on it goes. But somehow, some way, here's Trump meeting Joe Biden and Jill Biden for the peaceful transfer of power, as they say. Let's watch this short clip.
Completely overturned, turned around, and this is a moment that Joe Biden warned about democracy, warned about what would happen to the country if and when this moment happened. And here it is.
Yeah, and it's such an important point of the moment that we're in, where President Biden said Donald Trump was a threat to democracy. And there are a lot of his supporters who were not very thrilled that he welcomed President Trump to the White House a few weeks after he won the election. I'm just listening in just to see if we can hear any questions there. But this was from a few moments ago. But he welcomed.
So the theater continues there. Quickly on the YouTube comments, Barry, yes. The only weaponized news Telegram, it should be mine. I don't use it much because I never got any traction there. Yeah, aardvarks are a big. We're going to see Trump's making big promises that they're going to end all this, but we'll see. Also, out of one side of his mouth, out of the other side, we know that old his son-in-law Kushner's over there trying to do all these real estate redevelopment deals, and we know that the aardvarks have big hooks in our whole government, including Trump, and so yeah, it's not good. Yeah, they probably did grift off of dead Martin Luther King Jr. Indeed, they did. Okay, continuing here. What else do we got? Well, let's see the official swearing in here. Quick clip just to get it on the record for everybody. Here's Trump being sworn in.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
His hand wasn't on the Bible there. You could see Melania holding the Bible right there, but he didn't put his hand on it when he was swearing. Yeah, he didn't. So did he have his fingers crossed? His toes? I don't know. But that is kind of odd that he would forget to put his hand on the Bible. Maybe it wasn't an aardvark Bible, but he brought his own Bible. His wife did. Very odd there, isn't it? Okay, here's J.D. Vance. So if they take out Trump, God forbid, we don't want that to happen, then obviously the vice president, Vance, would be next in line. So the would-be assassins out there should take that into consideration. You'll have to deal with J.D. Vance if you do the dirty deed of assassinating the president, which we hope and pray does not happen. But Vance is next in line. And I don't even have time for the video today, but there's this video of old Mike Johnson, Mr. Aardvark man himself, Speaker of the House, saying that, oh yeah, I tried to meet up with Biden about national security, and the CIA and was there, and it's like, dude, why are you telling us this now? Why didn't you tell us back then when it happened that President Biden is being handled by the CIA and he's not running anything and he's literally a puppet? Like, dude. So he comes out now and tells us all this. Like the video was what, yesterday or the day before or something I saw. What a revelation. Why didn't you do your job and say, hey, this guy is not fit for duty. We need to impeach him right now because somebody else is pulling the strings there and calling the shots. And it ain't your President Biden. Anyway, ridiculousness. Here's old Vance. Mr. Technocratic, supported by Peter Thiel and the rest of them, right? So, yeah, imagine that if this guy gets in there as president. Warp speed, whatever, all your favorite digital slavery systems, all for our own safety, of course, and national security.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
My only question is, what God are they talking about? May not be the God you're thinking of. Here's some good news, though. Bill and Hillary Clinton are booed at the inauguration. So let's watch this short clip. Why are they not arrested? Trump said he's going to lock her up the first time. Oh, but that would hurt the country.
Capital One Arena, we saw a shot of former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Okay, now the boos are picking up again, as you can imagine. You have former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and obviously former President Bill Clinton as well. The crowd here is getting a little more raucous as it's filling out, about 20,000 inside of the Capital One Arena. It was pretty peaceful and friendly. It now seems to be getting a little more fired up and amped up. The boos are growing loud. I would say the booing now probably louder than it was for Vice President Mike Pence. So
the crowd there booed Mike Pence too. I'm not even gonna waste my time with that video, but I do enjoy Bill and Hillary getting booed. Yeah, I don't even have time for this one either. Fetterman showed up in his gym shorts, pretty funny, and hoodie. Yeah, I don't got time for Obama either, but Obama showed up there without his wife. There's rumors that Mrs. Obama and Barry may be having marital problems. I don't know. I honestly don't care. Okay, let's play some people up the ladder a little bit further than these puppet politicians, the tech oligarchs here. Let's play them going in there.
Elon Musk was right behind members of the cabinet walking into the east front of the Capitol just moments ago, Jake.
There's Joe Rogan, the popular podcast host, Tim Cook from Apple, the CEO of Apple. We've talked a bunch about all the tech executives.
And you can see
Jeff
Tim
Miller,
Cook right now.
Jeff Miller used to. Is that the former McCarthy aide, right?
I believe I saw the TikTok CEO just walk in as well.
And Mark Zuckerberg is there as well. Go ahead. There's Mark Zuckerberg walking in as well. These are a lot of tech executives that had previously faced this
quality time together.
Previously faced the scorn of Donald Trump, who have spent the last few months trying desperately to get in his good graces. Dana Bash.
Yeah, that looks like.
Well, they banned and censored everybody for like 3 years, 4 years. They banned Trump even. So, yeah, should be in his good graces for that behavior. Okay. Trump put this out. He has his official POTUS X account back. And I'll play the short video here, but he posted this. He says, America's back. Every single day, I will be fighting for you with every breath in my body. I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. And here's a short video that he posted along with that message. We do the best propaganda. So USA, USA, USA. Here's old Eric Trump doing the alleged Illuminati hand signal there, and his wife has to tell him, "Hey, bring that down." See that? Do we have that? Kind of funny, right? I don't know. She's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be flashing that gang sign here." I don't know. Anyway, old Jeff Bezos' old lady, Lauren Sanchez, she showed up in, some people are claiming, in a obscene outfit choice. She's in good shape. She's what, 55 years old? Something like this, I think. She's in damn good shape. All plastic, of course, but they're talking about this. You can see it's like kind of lingerie, kind of lace top. I don't know. Is that offensive? The whole thing's offensive, honestly. They put on this giant show for these politicians who haven't done jack except for oppress us and steal from us. But old Zuckerberg was caught looking down at her cleavage here. Kind of funny. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe this is part of the rebranding of Mark Zuckerberg, and he's trying to prove that he's actually a human man and not a clone drone robot android lizard person, trying to act like a person here. But you can see right there, he's caught looking down at her cleavage there. All ridiculousness, but kind of funny. All part of the rebranding. Right before we came on, old Marco Rubio has been unanimously confirmed to be Secretary of State. And so he's a big Aardvark fan, and we would expect nothing less. So there you go. Meet your new Secretary of State, little Marco Rubio. Moving on here. Melania Trump did look quite fashionable in her outfit here. I forget even why. I was trying to read it, but it's like, I'm not going to report on her. I'll just show you the images. But she did look dashing in her hat there. So, continuing. What else do we got about today? Okay, here. Short clip. Trump ends weaponization of government against political adversaries. Trump has issued a directive to halt the weaponization of government agencies against political opponents of prior administrations. This move seeks to restore neutrality and fairness in federal operations, addressing concerns over partisan misuse of government power. Somebody's got to get in trouble. You can't just say, "Oh, well, all's forgiven now." Somebody has to get in trouble for this abuse of government power, the weaponization of government, but I don't think they're going to get in trouble, sadly.
Lastly, sir, before we go back to the Oval Office to sign a large number of other items, is a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen.
And so what? They all got away with it? Is that what we just saw here? Just like lock her up, Hillary. So did they just all get away with it? We're bigger than that. That's why we just let you commit unlimited crimes against the American people by weaponizing the force of the federal government against us. Trump cancels Afghan refugee flights. The last Trump administration has canceled, or the Trump administration now, excuse me, getting used to it here. The Trump administration has canceled flights for nearly 1,660 Afghan refugees who were approved to resettle in the United States. This group includes family members of active duty U.S. military personnel and former Afghan soldiers. The decision comes as part of President Trump's executive orders aimed at revising U.S. immigration policies. So we're going to see a lot of that going on. As I said, Fox News is reporting here some 200 odd executive actions. All these executive orders, they're unconstitutional, by the way, as MAGA cheers it on. If you want to do something, pass a law through Congress how you're supposed to. But this is where we're at, as they've bastardized the executive branch, not just Trump, not just Biden, but for many years here now with these executive orders. And so problem with the executive orders is that the next guy comes along and just undoes them, and they're not actually laws. So we're going to have to track that, as I said. He's probably signing a bunch now, but what do we got here? I got 15 out of the gate. Executive order declaring national emergency at the southern border. Executive order on immigration. This includes actions like reinstating the Remain in Mexico policy, ending birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants, and designated criminal cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. A lot of the stuff they're going to fight in court, and who knows if what the courts will rule. Who knows? It's going to be held up a while. Executive order on energy policy, actions aimed at rolling back climate regulations, ending a pause on LNG export approvals, revoking waivers for states like California to have stricter pollution rules, and withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement. Executive order on diversity, equity, and inclusion. This order seeks to slash DEI programs across the federal government and only recognizes two sexes, male and female, that cannot be changed. Executive order on trade initiates a review of U.S. trade relationships with China, Canada, and Mexico. Although specifics like imposing new tariffs are deferred. Executive order on transgender rights vows to end transgender rights in the U.S. military and schools. Executive order on environmental policies includes renaming geographical features like renaming Denali Mountain back to Mount McKinley and the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Executive orders on federal hiring freezes most federal hiring. Executive order on pardons promises to issue pardons for members of the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. Executive order on government operations nominates and appoints senior officials, including acting positions, to take immediate control of government operations. Executive order on federal agency appointments implements a policy allowing for the replacement of career civil servants with political appointees. Reviving the Schedule F executive order. Executive order on drug pricing directs federal agencies to prioritize purchasing American-made medicines and mandates pharmaceutical companies to offer the same prices to the U.S. as they do to foreign nations. Executive order on healthcare aims to reduce drug costs by ensuring the U.S. gets the best priced pharmaceutical drugs offered to any country. Don't do drugs, kids. They're bad for you. Executive order on federal government efficiency officially outlines the role and authorities of the new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which, as we've learned here, following our lectures on history, is part of Yeah. Part of the Venetians. Goes way back, way back. Doge. Executive order on public campaign by homeless people bans public camping by homeless individuals, offering them treatment or arrest, and plans for tent cities relocation. And so that's just 15. There's going to be a whole lot more than that. Right there, you can see 15, the top 15, and we'll get to the rest tomorrow as it develops. Here's a win. I'll take it. Trump reinstates military members over miracle mandate. And so Trump has announced plans to reinstate service members who were discharged from the military for refusing the miracle mandate. These individuals will receive full back pay. This decision was highlighted during Trump's return to office, aiming to correct what he termed an injustice toward military personnel who chose not to be miracled. So that's a good one. But we still need major reconciliation about the whole operation there now, don't we? But this is one step in the right direction. I don't know why you would ever go back and work for maniacs that wanted to push this on you in the first place, but I understand some people are in a tough spot, and nice little back pay for the military service members there now. But know that, and they tell you, right, you sign that contract, you are the property of the U.S. government, and they shall do whatever the hell they want with you, all the way up to sending you out to take a bullet. So just putting that out there, man. Okay, so a couple short clips of Trump here. Trump says he wants his legacy to be peacemaker and unifier. Not bad ambitions.
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
We'll see. We're bombing the hell out of Yemen. We'll see. Unlimited aardvark aid. Here's a funny one. Let's have a funny one. We could at least have one funny one. Well, the booing of Hillary was pretty funny, I think. But here's another funny one. Crying Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger.
Why are we helping some of the people? Why are we helping Liz Cheney? I mean, Liz Cheney is a disaster. She's a crying lunatic, and crying Adam Kinzinger. He's a super crying. I never saw the guy not crying. He's always crying. I looked at him. I remember years ago he was actually on my side. And then one day, you know, when you don't want to kill people in wars, they turn against you. Liz Cheney hated the concept of not going to war with everybody. Let's kill everybody. Let's spend a lot of money on military equipment, you know, where her father works, right? And but what she did was incredible. Think of it. They destroyed and deleted all of that information that went on for almost 2 years against Trump.
We'll see. Okay. Trump claims that God made him president. My question is, which God are you talking about?
Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
again, which God is he referring to? I have a sneaking suspicion that he prays to a different God than the majority of people out there may think the God of the Christian Bible that he's actually referring to. Here's old Musk doing a Nazi salute, apparently. Very bizarre here. I don't know if you guys saw this clip, but bizarre from Musk. No, I don't know what this was about. Was this really a Nazi salute? I don't know. Looked like it. I don't know. Bizarre there, though. I don't know why you would do that. Protesters brought out guillotines, homemade guillotines. I don't know. It's probably not even worth seeing that video. State of Oregon mandates training for state workers to not cooperate with Trump deportation plans. And so it's all well and good to do all these executive orders and make all these promises, and we're going to clean up everything like this. But states are going to push back. The resistance. Going to be all kind of lawsuits. It's not all just going to be come wave your magic wand and Trump saves America and he's our own personal Jesus over here. All right. So migrants break down in tears as Trump shuts down border entry app just minutes after taking office. And so they had this app that was streamlining CBP1 app that was streamlining the human smuggling process here, the illegal immigration. I like how they say migrants. No, they're illegal immigrants. Okay, let's just get that straight. There's a difference. They always conflate the two, right? And it's frustrating. But there's a difference between legal migrants and illegal alien migrants. There's a big difference there. We have immigration laws. Many people have followed them and become legal citizens of this country, right? There's a process. And all these people that come in illegally and don't go through that process are literally spitting in all of those people's faces that did it legally. And they're also being exploited by the system as well. So you would think. And the system is screwed up. It's all screwed up. They do make you jump through all these hoops, pay them a bunch of money, file a stack of freaking paperwork like this to become a citizen. For sure. It ain't easy. But it ain't easy for a reason, because it ain't just a gift that, hey, the whole world come here, become a citizen, get on welfare, and, and everything's free. Bullshit. You know what I mean? So anyway, if you're and the asylum seekers, if you're legitimately seeking political asylum from oppression by your government, then I think it's okay for the United States of America to give you asylum. But many of these people are claiming political asylum, and it's just not legitimate. Okay, many of them are economic refugees. And like I said, it's not my responsibility to pay for you because your country's economy or whatever has failed and you can't do whatever you want to do economically. It's not my responsibility and the rest of the U.S. taxpayers. I'm sorry to tell you that. Continuing here, there was a Border Patrol agent shot and killed near Canadian border just hours after Trump outlines his sweeping crackdown on immigration. Is this a sign of things to come? Maybe. It might get wild when they go try to round up a bunch of illegal alien gangs, right? They may just fight back and push back and say we don't want to be deported, and we have guns to say that we're defending our criminal gang territory here now. The agent was shot earlier today in Newport, Vermont, while performing a traffic stop. So, did it have anything to do with this? I don't know. You know what I mean? But interesting timing on that shooting. Okay, I think we're done with all the inauguration news there. And as I said before, we will try to get to all of the executive orders that are meaningful tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he's signing them like right now as we speak. So I think right now at the 56-minute mark is a good time for our commercial break here live, because we haven't, we're commercial free here on Weaponized News. And so we're doing these two campaigns, and we've almost completed both of them. And thank you everyone for for helping us rack up these viewing hours on the old YouTube. And so Weaponized News campaign is to try and reach the 500 subscriber threshold. I got another subscriber since the show started, apparently, if we can trust any of the data, which I don't, but it's what they give me, so it's what I got to go with, right? No Simon today. You missed at the beginning there, Bob. I said that Simon is still under the weather, recovering, but we do have signs of life, and he'll be coming back hopefully this week. But he said that he did lose his voice, he told me, and other ailments, and so whatever hit him, man, hit him pretty hard. So no Simon today, but I did talk to him via text. Okay, back to our campaign here for subscribers on the Weaponized News YouTube. You can see we have 479, so we're just 21 away from our 500 subscriber threshold goal to become monetized. And then also, and I saw people saying they're doing this. Thank you, I appreciate it. Sandwich Time, I think, said that they took my advice and just let it play. So we're trying to rack up those hours watched, as we need 3,000 in 365 days are the thresholds to qualify for monetization on the YouTube. And we're getting there, man. And I know you guys out there in the audience are helping, and I truly do appreciate it. So I think last time I checked, we're at like 1,900 hours. So we need about 1,100 more hours in the next, I'm going to say 180 days to be conservative, but we're running out of time. So the simplest, easiest way, go to the YouTube channel, scroll down to the bottom, documentaries, push play, mute, walk away, or listen up and get educated about the new world order from the Russian and Chinese perspective, the new Russian nuclear doctrine, the new American nuclear doctrine, and a bunch of stuff in between there, aardvark genocide documented at the UN, and so on, all based on primary source documents, so you don't even have to do any guessing. Everything's linked there for you, so you can come strong with your geopolitical arguments to your next family holiday and tear them apart with your knowledge from Weaponized News. Thank you very much for that. And then the other campaign that we're still trying to complete here is Recharge Canada's batteries. And we're up to $466 on that campaign. We're almost there to go ahead and get Candace Morris a new alternator for her vehicle. And again, thank you to everyone who has donated through our begging here at Weaponized News. We do appreciate it. Candace appreciates it. And as you can see here, we're almost there, man. So just what do we need? Another, 130 some odd dollars, 7 or something like this, right? So we're almost there. So if you're feeling generous and at all can spare any money at all, go to Give Send Go, campaign code GE7K7, and help our Candace Morris get an alternator and buy the part and pay for the labor to put it in her vehicle. And we truly would appreciate that to fully fund this campaign and move on to the next campaign. So that's our live commercial break. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Monday edition of Weaponized News, Presidential Inauguration edition on January 20th. Also, the death of, is it the death? I don't think it's a death anniversary, but it's the official federal holiday of Martin Luther King Jr., where we know the government conspired with others to kill him. And so we do appreciate them honoring him on this day for their assassination of that man. Okay, it's cold out there, man, so keep your pets, plants, old people, young people, everybody in between, stay warm out there because it is cold, except for in California and Florida. I'll put the map up here for everybody to see. The polar vortex is in full effect, as they say here. I guess we can. Does it blow up? There we go. So as everybody can see, we're in a bunch of negatives up here and a bunch below freezing. What is freezing? 32 degrees Fahrenheit, I think, if I remember right. So you can see right here, freezing. Like most of the country's freezing right here. Except for I'm over here in California, where we have, quote, wildfires, which are not wildfires. They're arson fires to keep us warm. And so down here in Southern California, not freezing because they have fire to keep them warm. But I'm like right in this area right here. And it is maybe I'm catching a bit of the cold, but only 36. And so that's why we love sunny California, except for when they spray the chemtrails every other day and it's not so sunny then, right? The, what is it? Stratospheric aerosol injections for the solar radiation management project of the geoengineers saving us from climate change. That we truly do appreciate their efforts, even though God only knows what they're spraying. We know it's heavy metal fallouts, aluminum, barium, and strontium, and God only knows what other viruses, bacterias, chemical, biological weapons they're spraying on us. God only knows, but that does go on indeed. And so hopefully we've seen Bobby Kennedy Jr. talk about it. And so hopefully they shut down these geoengineering programs that are chemtrailing all over the place, specifically in my area and your area too, if they're spraying there. From what I can tell, it's basically everywhere. So you're blessed if you don't have these geoengineering programs going on over your head on a regular basis. So let's hope Bobby Kennedy Jr., Trump, and the rest of them shut it down. I'm very skeptical, seriously have my doubts. Who cares about the Paris Climate Agreement if you don't shut down the geoengineering? And let's bring it all out into light and let's have a serious scientific discussion about climate change and quit all the lies and bullshit. Okay, the climate's changing. Well, you guys are doing giant geoengineering projects all over the world. That definitely has something to do with it. So let's bring it all out. Full transparency here now. Okay. LA fires, what are we, day 13? They're still going on. A lot has been contained. The Palisades fire, the biggest one, over 23,000, almost 24,000 acres. It's now being reported 59% contained. The Eaton fire, the next biggest one, over 14,000 acres, now 87% contained. The Hearst fire was 800 acres. That's now reported at 89% contained. These other ones, smaller ones, have all been 100% contained. Kenneth Fire, 100% contained. Lydia Fire, 100% contained. Sunset Fire, 100% contained. Archer Fire, 100% contained. Those were all smaller. The Kenneth Fire, over 1,000 acres. Pretty large, but all those 100% contained. So it looks like two major fires are left. On the 13th day of the LA fires. Let's see here. Yeah, Newsom, just beyond ridiculous. He's just going to lay low, though, act like he's a hero and let it blow over, it appears. What do we got? What else we got here? Do we want to play this? I think we've seen enough clips about it. We covered it extensively here. The smart cities, the UN Agenda 2030, the smart meters, the arsonists arrested, 2. I didn't even search today. 2, and then the whole weird thing about the guy with the blowtorch. They Citizens originally detained him, but it doesn't appear that he's been charged, even though he was running around with a blowtorch. So that is very bizarre. But we know 2 people were arrested and charged with arson there. I'm sure there's more. Probably won't ever catch them. We know the EPA and the federal and state EPAs have went in there to go ahead and clean up the scene to cover up the evidence, no doubt. And so I think we've seen enough of those videos and covered it extensively over the last 2 weeks here now. You can go back and look if you're interested about our in-depth coverage. We're still praying for the people who've lost their homes there and their place to live. Maybe Trump's executive order to get rid of homeless camping can round them up and make sure they literally have no place. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But Peter Duke, of course, we're following his reporting closely on the matter, as he was in the Pacific Palisades and victim there. Going right now, he did post a video. It's quite horrific. He posted what's left video. I don't even think this was his video, but he's just posting it. The damage there is quite horrific. Well, this is a different video than we've seen. It's a minute long. This is the Pacific Coast Highway. Let's take a look at the devastation there in the Pacific Palisades region. It's only a minute. And this is the aftermath of the wildfires, which were actually arson fires.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Pretty wild level of damage there over there in the chat. Yeah, we'll get to Trump's Trump coin and better. Yeah, well, when Trump got in power, everything's good. All the fires went out and the wind stopped blowing. And so yeah, Trump's hot air put out the fires. We got, and I'm going to play that video. We have a video of Congressman Kevin Kiley from up north of Sacramento, congressman, talking about Newsom proofing California. Call me skeptical, but I have my doubts. He says, stop Medi-Cal for illegal immigrants, kill the high-speed rail, reverse EV mandates, rein in the Coastal Commission, build water storage, manage the forest, clear homeless encampments, enforce Prop 36 for California. Yeah. That would all be good. We shall wait and see, though. Okay. So enough about the fires again. If you want to support, give. If you want to give to anybody, instead of giving to the Red Cross, which are being promoted all over the mainstream, I would say go to Peter Duke's Buy Me a Coffee page and donate to him directly, as him and his wife are without a home now, as it burned down, and his family too. I think he said his brother and his ex-wife, all their houses burned down there in that area. So if you wanted to donate to the victims, give it right to a victim that their house burned down on Peter Duke's Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/The Duke Report. If you are at all interested in giving to that charitable cause. Okay, moving on here to, and so it looks like it's died out now. We'll see. We'll see. It looks like they got their job done. They cleared that area for the smart city implementation. And you can see the devastation. It's just otherworldly. They're in the LA fires. Okay. And of course, Davos, World Economic Forum, they don't know anything about it. They would never do such a thing as conspire to cause these fires. So they don't know. I mean, still a mystery. World Economic Forum president now. No more Klaus Schwab, as he's stepped back out of the spotlight because he was too overwhelming as a cartoon villain, according to some reports. Now they've got this guy, Borg Brindy. Probably can't pronounce his name right. He's some kind of space alien. No, he's a European. But he says that we really don't know what the New World Order is about. So they don't know. I don't know. So I guess just another conspiracy. But he says we are entering into a new world order era. Let's watch this short clip.
Thank you.
One can say that the 3 decades of increased cooperation that we saw after the Cold War has definitely ended. We are between world orders. We had one world order post the Cold War that enhanced and incentivized cooperation. And no, we don't really know what the new world order is about, but cooperation also has to play a role in that new world order. But currently between orders, and we know that from history too, there is disorder. So one has to really struggle to find ways of cooperating when countries are also competing for increased influence in a new world. And hopefully this new world order is not the jungle growing back, but there is ways also to collaborate in a very competitive world.
Almost like that's what we've been reporting on here at Weaponized News for a long time now, part of the documentary series on our YouTube channel that you can go and enjoy there for free. And wow. The new world order. And so Davos, day one, as they conspire at these, quote, elite meeting in Davos, Switzerland, about how to run the new world order, their version of it at least. Let's watch this report about it. What is it? There's going to be 60 heads of state and 900 CEOs attending under the pretense of saving the world. Well, yeah, they need to save us from the crisis that they created. We wouldn't have it any other way. Bob says, amazing how TV watchers will cheer and laud any and all mass murderers in a business suit. Well, hey, they got a nice suit, Bob. I mean, you got to let them murder everybody, right?
Can't happen. Thank you.
In business and politics are gathering once again in the Swiss mountains.
And I just want to say
the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum takes place this week in the resort town of Davos. Organisers claim over 60 heads of state and government will be present, with some 3,000 other business and political leaders. But one man won't be physically present, even though he's the centre of attention. Donald Trump is set to address the event by video link. He's been a regular at past meetings, including in 2020.
Today I'm proud to declare that the United States is in the midst of an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen before.
This year, all eyes will be on what moves he makes after being sworn in. Trump's promise of sweeping tariffs runs directly contrary to the Davos agenda of free trade. Delegates will also keep a close eye on any changes to US energy policy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be present, aiming to rally support from other world leaders. WEF Managing Director Mirek Dusek says Davos has always been a place for dialogue in times of conflict.
So we are very glad that we are able to welcome him together with a governmental delegation to be able to have dialogue among his counterparts from around the world, including also European leaders.
Other key topics on the agenda will include climate change and how to harness artificial intelligence. But not all the rich folk gathered in Davos see things the same way. Protesters will make their voice heard too, on the margins at least. Among them is German-Austrian millionaire heiress Marlene Engelhorn.
We're at Davos today because we need to tax the rich. Inequality is soaring. The climate is in a disastrous state. We see what democracies are facing when we don't tackle inequality. And it's not like taxing the rich is the easiest of things, but it's a democratic solution.
As the world's wealthy get together, that call seems unlikely to gain traction in the conference halls at Davos.
That's pretty funny. Barry says that he's hearing some audio in the background. I don't hear it. Barry says, weaponized news, check your setting. You have that Elon thank you clip constantly going over your main audio. Well, that freaking sucks. I hope not. I don't hear it playing. Shouldn't definitely be playing now. I just paused it. But thank you, Barry, for the for letting me know. I don't hear it on my end. Hopefully, you're the only one that hears it. So yeah, taxing the rich at Davos doesn't seem very popular. Imagine that. Davos rich and powerful must uphold their responsibility to safeguard humanity. They're keeping us safe, see, from the crisis that they create. And so we do appreciate their efforts. This is an odd turn of events. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Syria is attending Davos. Imagine that. Imagine that. Assad Sheikh will attend Davos. New Minister of Foreign Affairs from Syria. The new moderate radical jihadists in Syria. They put on a suit, they trim their beard, and this guy cleans up real nice. One of these psychos that just put on a suit and cheer on the genociding. It's gonna be awesome, man. Awesome, Bob. This one is always funny for me. You can see right here one of their key themes there at Davos is rebuilding public trust. Now, why would they need to rebuild public trust? I don't know. They're heroes and saved everybody's life many times over, but somehow, some way, they feel they need to rebuild public trust. So that is a major plank of the meeting this year, major theme. Weaponized news, others are hearing it too. It is only when you hit play on something, it cues that back up on a loop, and we cannot hear the main audio of you that you are playing. We will keep you posted. Damn it. Well, that sucks. That weird thing's going on with the audio. I hope it didn't do it for the whole show. Okay, so today, the beginning day collaboration for the intelligence age, and the Crystal Awards were given to these people right here. And so, yeah, not really much going on today. But it is the 20th through the 24th, and we'll be reporting on it tomorrow and throughout the week. No, just the last 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, well, we will try again here. Okay, list of, so that's all we got for Davos today. New oligarchy under fire as elites descend on Davos. Are they new oligarchy? The same old oligarchy. Like, newsflash, there's an oligarchy in control. Actually, they've been in control for what, 2,000 years? Everybody, it's coming back around again that people are becoming more aware, apparently. But it's only under Trump, the oligarchy of the Musk, Bezos, Zuckerbergs. When, as we've gone over on the show, there's oligarchs that we don't even know their freaking name that are the real oligarchs in the shadows, behind the scenes. We've named the families, but I think there's even people ahead of them at the very top of the pyramid that we don't even know their freaking names because that's how they do. Okay, moving on to, well, thank you, Barry, there, for updating me on the audio issues. We will try to play a clip again and see here, a test clip before we get to the end documentary. But list of Biden pardons. And so Biden has saved us once again from having to go through prosecuting criminals by issuing a pardon. And so he already pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who tragically we lost the greatest works of art the world's ever known at his Malibu home when it burned down there. And he's also committing insurance fraud, but that put a little chink in the money laundering operation going on at the Biden crime family. But I'm sure he'll just paint up some more and continue the money laundering operations. And so collecting large sums from insuring his priceless works of art as well. But on December 1st, he was given a full and unconditional pardon by Joe Biden. And then a bunch of other people here. Biden pardoned 39 individuals convicted of non-violent crimes on the December 12th. And then today, Biden issued pardons for Marcus Garvey, humanously, however you pronounce that, for his 1929 mail fraud conviction. I think he's dead already, but hey. Don Scott, Virginia House Speaker, for a non-violent drug offense. Ravi Ragber, immigrant rights activist. Kinba Smith Pareda, prison reform activist. Daryl Chambers, gun violence prevention activist. And then, of course, the big ones here, his family. Today, he issued, in his final hours, he issued 5 family members pardons, preemptive pardons, even though they've done nothing wrong, and they're the greatest Americans we ever known and great patriots. James Biden, Sarah Jones Biden, Valerie Biden Owens, John T. Owens, and Francis W. Biden were all preemptively pardoned for crimes that they never committed because Trump is a vengeful a-hole and may go after Biden's family. That's what they claim. Or, more likely, they know they're insane criminals and some of their crimes, the statute of limitations may not run out in the near future. So, hey, preemptive pardon them. They're good guys, don't you know? And then on to the big names. Of course, General Mark Milley, the greatest American general that we've ever had. Better than Patton, better than Eisenhower, better than George Washington, hell. And so he was preemptively pardoned today for some odd reason. Even though he's committed no crime, he never won a war, and did his best to go ahead and destroy our military. But the greatest general in American history, Mark Milley, was preemptively pardoned today. And of course, the greatest doctor in world history, Dr. Anthony Fauci, was preemptively pardoned today. And he did lie to Congress. I mean, that's easily provable. And so he did, at the very least, perjure himself to Congress, amongst many other crimes we won't go into on the show today due to censorship. We're still feeling the effects of old Dr. Fauci on our First Amendment. But thankfully, the greatest doctor in world history, who I don't even think he ever saw a patient, but he did experiment on many orphan children and animals, we know. And he experimented on the whole world. And so we do appreciate the Fauci efforts to help us all through the medical intervention period and going back to his 50 years of public service with insane psychopathic experiments that make Dr. Mengele even blush of Nazi fame. And so we do appreciate the preemptive pardon of Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's now a professor at Georgetown University. And so he's being rewarded well in his twilight years, as they say, for his 50 years of government service, now with a pardon. Members of the January 6th committee, including Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff, all pardoned preemptively for their great work there, prosecuting the worst attack in the history of the world, as we were told. And so, of course, they've done nothing wrong, and so their preemptive pardons are greatly appreciated. Capitol and D.C. police officers who testified before the committee, and so their lies are forgiven, and we do appreciate that. Also of note, Biden commuted the sentences for over 1,500 individuals who were placed on home confinement during the medical intervention period. And that was announced December 12th. These individuals served disproportionately long sentences for nonviolent offenders. I remember there were some child abusers in there, but hey, who's counting, right? 37 individuals on federal death row on December 23rd of last year, reclassifying, this is commuting their sentence, reclassifying their sentences to life without parole. And so they can suck off of the taxpayers there for life now. And all of that in an effort to make the government inefficient as possible. So, yeah, great job out the door for old Joe Biden. And, yeah, it's very sad that we will be missing Sideshow Bob there, Jean Pierre, the press secretary, and the rest of these criminals. Now we have a whole new set of criminals to deal with. So here's a quick, this is farewell to Biden. We'll miss you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But let's do an audio test on this one, Barry, and let me know if we're getting that same feedback.
That's all, folks.
Did we get that feedback, Barry? Pardon all the chemtrail pilots. Did they pardon the chemtrail pilots? Maybe. Is it even pilots? Is it drones? How's the audio on that, Barry? Did we get that feedback, or was that enough of a test? Well, we got a minute. If you could let me know, I would appreciate it before we get to playing that documentary, because that would be bad if we had that feedback going on. Okay, on to some economic news that Bob was commenting on earlier. I was joking on the pilot thing. Oh, well, what about, the audio's good? Okay. Audio, okay, try again. Okay, well, if you stay with me, I hope you do. We're almost to the end here, and then we can play these documentaries. Okay, pump and dump scheme. It looks like Trump launched this meme crypto coin, $Trump. And yeah, it looks like they pumped it up. And then as they say, rugged it and took profits and left people holding the bag, but it is staying in there. And so here is the chart of it. But as that goes, Trump's the newest crypto billionaire. And so he did take advantage of his celebrity status as president of the United States. And so here we can see the chart. It's kind of small. This chart, let me put it up here. But as these things go, of the meme pump and dump schemes, you can see it went all the way up to, shoot, what was that? Pretty high, past almost $40. And then there we go. You can see everybody was pumped. We love Trump. He saved my life. It made it up to 60, past $60. And then boom, it crashed down to, we're at 34 now. And so what is that? Like 26 some odd dollars worth of profit taking that was had by, of course, it wasn't insiders that had foreknowledge of such events. And as they say, whales in the market that have enough of these coins to move the market. None of that happened. It was all organic. Of course, Trump coin sparks fury as industry grapples with pump and dump dread. Forbes tells us, but hey, what the hell? Trump's a crypto billionaire now. No one ever said that he wasn't a genius marketer. So all that went on over the last day and a half. So it has stabilized now, reportedly, allegedly, at $34.27 from over a $60 high at its initial launch. Yeah, be careful with your meme coins out there. Highly volatile. And Bitcoin is over 100,000 again. That is another crypto that is extremely volatile. But it did close today. Well, it never closes really because it's worldwide, but it's at over 100,000 today. And you can see the volatility. It went up past 106 and lost over 3.5%, some odd percentage like this. And so you can see it's a pretty big swing there. So be careful out there in the crypto markets for sure. Yeah, but who cares? Trump's president. He saved us all. So now he's a crypto billionaire. Okay. So we're almost done here. We have aardvarks to report on. The ceasefire that wasn't. We're in phase one. Some hostages on both sides have been released. Let's play now. And they love that 33, man. So we're in phase one now. And interestingly enough, Ben Gvir did resign in protest, allegedly. And so for those that can remember, Ben Gvir and others have resigned. And so I was trying to read this, but it's behind a paywall over there over there on Haaretz. And so I apologize. I couldn't get the details, and I didn't have enough time in show prep to give you everybody else who resigned. But you remember old Ben Gvir always going into the Al-Aqsa Mosque with, quote, settlers and trying to provoke a freaking an attack by Muslims as he disrespects their mosque, essentially. And so we're going to miss him, the radical, lovable, genocidal, homicidal maniac, constantly trying to provoke World War III with the Muslims. We're going to miss him. But sadly, he has resigned. And so, burn in hell, Ben Gvir. Sorry to see you go. But back to Trump and what his administration is going to be doing there in Aardvark land. He's named Mike Huckabee U.S. ambassador to Aardvark land, and he says he opposes a two-state solution. So let's watch this short clip. Always a man of the people and of solutions, Mike Huckabee. And here's another audio test. So let me know there, Barry, please, sir, if how's this audio playing out for you?
Do you believe that President Trump believes, and you do believe, that the two-state solution is the future?
No. I think we have to recognize there was a Palestinian state. It was called Gaza. Look how that turned out. You can't have a Palestinian state on top of the Israeli state if the Palestinians continue to believe that Israel shouldn't exist. Because the Palestinians don't believe in a two-state solution. They believe in a one-state solution, and their solution, and Israel disappears. That's no solution whatsoever. Israel has a right to its autonomous, indigenous homeland that they've had for 3,500 years since the days of Abraham.
There's that old Schofield bullshit. Thank you very much, Mike Huckabee. What a piece of garbage that guy turned out to be. So yeah, and we do appreciate the 33, their occultic Masonic symbolism in the number of hostages released as well. That is not lost on us here at Weaponized News. Okay, the dog's getting restless here. So what else? Trump halts UNRWA funding amid allegations. And by the way, yesterday there was 10 Palestinians killed during the ceasefire, as you do during ceasefires. And then today it's being reported that Aardvark forces have shot 8 Palestinian civilians in Rafah. And so the kind of ceasefire we can trust and believe in, where they continue to kill people there in Aardvark land. Okay, this one, we got to give a disclaimer. It's in Aardvark Times, but Trump transition official criticizes fanatics in Aardvark government and insists on improving lives of Gazans. Remember, this is a quote now. Remember, there's a lot of people, radicals, fanatics, not just from the Hamas side, from the right wing of the Aardvark side, who are absolutely incentivized to blow the whole deal up. If we don't have the Gazans, if we don't make their life better, if we don't give them a sense of hope, there's going to be a rebellion. Well, if you keep messing with that mosque, which Ben-Gvir tried his damnedest to provoke a rebellion there, then that, of course that's going to happen. But again, sad to see old Ben-Gvir resign in protest of the ceasefire that wasn't. Bizarre behavior there out of him. He knows damn well that the killing is continuing. So we're going to have to track that and see how all that sorts out. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Huckabee equals Hamas equals bad. Case closed. Well, yeah, true. Hamas bad and Aardvark's good. And if you don't like it, they got a black site for you. So that's the story, and we're sticking to it here. Over on the Odyssey, I do see that there's a few people there. Bob, of course, thank you. And Barry jumping in on all the channels, helping stir up the chat. Bamsall, thank you for tuning in here. It's like you have Twitter clip on repeat. Oh, he saw it too. Well, sorry. I think we fixed that situation. And thankfully, it wasn't for that much of the show. But thank you guys for letting me know over there. I appreciate it because I could not hear it on my end. So thank you very much for letting me know and helping fix that audio. Thank you for tuning in on the Odyssey and keeping that chat going. Over to the Rumble. There's a few people over there. Barry, MG. MG. Simon will be back hopefully this week, but we do have signs of life. He is putting out some posts on the old X. Let's see, MG, another, signs of life. So MG, another donation there. Generous. Thank you very much. Truly do appreciate it. On the Rumble rants. Let's see, is Louisiana freezing? I think it is. Just looked it up. My weather app is saying extremely cold, warning at 40 degrees. Yeah, it's cold, man. The retired Planned Parenthood director died today. Oh, well, thanks, Cecile Richards. Well, thank you for that reporting, MG. I did not know that. So she can burn in hell. Remember her bragging about, was she one of the ones? I forget. I don't think it was her. But anyway, she knew damn well they're selling aborted baby body parts for medical experiments and the like. And so, old Cecile Richards of Eugenics fame, former head of Planned Parenthood, can burn in hell along with, well, I guess Ben Gavir's still with us, but I'm sure they'll meet in hell together someday. All J6ers to be pardoned, just saying. Well, hell yeah, all of them pardoned, MG. But we can't go after the provocateurs, apparently, because Biden pardoned all the Capitol Police. And so we're not going to get justice out of it. They just got to sit and be political prisoners for, 3.5, 4 years, something like this. Horrific. The soundtrack from Duke Report is overlaying. Can't hear the Davos soundtrack only. Thank you for letting it happen. Audio overlapping. I guess it's fixed, hopefully. Allegedly. Well, thank you, MG, for that. Yeah, we should pardon the chemtrail pilots, Barry. Nexus tuning in there. Thanks for keeping the show rolling along. Yeah, well, yep, she can burn in hell. yeah, that's where she's going. Nexus. Karen there as well. Thank you guys all. And Carrie as well. Thank you guys for all tuning in on the Rumble. The Rock Fan. K. Karim. Give us a little donation over on the Rock Fan. Says Trump's banking patrons are laundering money to him via the crypto scam. JP Morgan is likely managing his blind trust. His patrons will extend him loans against his paper crypto profits. Wow. Yeah. Sounds about right to me. Allegedly, of course, because we would never accuse Trump of any wrongdoings. But yeah, that sounds about right to me. K. Karim. John, thank you guys for tuning in. Denver, Barry on every platform, truly appreciated. Holding it down for me. DT2, after Rubio completes the task of the aardvarks Juice Lady paid for, then Rubio will be gone. Well, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Gene, employers like Trump take serious unfair advantage of them. Oh, of the illegal aliens? Well, they're both playing the system. That's why they need to be legal, man. And then we wouldn't have any of these problems. Well, we'd still have problems, but it would alleviate some of the exploitation, you could say, at the very least, if we got these people legal. But yeah, indeed, they're being exploited. They're exploiting our system and so on. It's not good. It's dysfunctional, and it doesn't have to be this way. Okay, continuing. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rockfin. Thank you for that donation. Over to the BitChute. What do we got on the BitChute? I don't even know. Again, as I say every show, someday, some way in 2025, we'll get a live BitChute chat going. that we can actually see what you guys watching. Wow, quite a few today on the BitChute. Very odd BitChute, right? Now it says I have 88 watching live there today. So shout out to you BitChute audience. Thank you guys for tuning in there. Let's lobby in 2025 to have BitChute integrate some type of live chat feature so I could interact with you guys and hear you guys what you guys got to say. That would be nice. Over here on the, thank you guys for tuning in on BitChute. Okay, over to the Facebook quickly, and then we're almost wrapping up to the documentary. Close out the show. There's a few viewers on the old Facebook, so thank you guys for tuning in on the Facebook. Yeah, how dare you do your own show, Ruckus? You're supposed to be watching my show. No, thank you for coming over here. Just kidding, Ruckus. Thank you for, and I did watch, I watched almost all of your show on the AI. Very good. Everybody should go to Ruckus' channel and watch his show about the AI. It is indeed taking many people's jobs and will continue into the future to take our jobs. And so we're going to have to, I don't know what the hell we're going to do, upskill. You got to upskill whatever industry you're in. You have to find a way. You got to sell a different service, sell a different. It's going to be rough, man, as we continue to report here. But Ruckus does a great deep dive on it, and it's bad, man. The AI screwed. We're screwed because a lot of rudimentary tasks, like for me specifically, I'm seeing it in my industry. I'm an accountant professionally. That's what I went to the university for and have my degree in is accountancy, business administration accountancy specifically. And I'm seeing it in my industry a lot. And they're telling me that in the next couple of years, you're just going to scan in a document. And so all that data entry that you would do as a bookkeeper, gone, man, because you're just going to scan it. And it's already there. And in a lot of the, I use QuickBooks a lot, because I account for small businesses, and a lot of it is already integrated into AI, and so it does help. It does help. I don't like the data entry, right? It's boring, rudimentary. A monkey can do it, and the AI has taken over a lot of that, which I think is a good thing. So hopefully I personally will have to level up my skills, which I was trained in, to do other things besides bogging down all my time with data entry. And so hopefully we can level up and help businesses, which is my main focus, help small businesses grow and give them the correct, accounting analysis and the like, and it'll free up some of my time for that. But I'm sure AI will be taking that as well. So a lot, in large part, in whatever you may be doing, the relationships that you're building with your customers is essential as well as. But I'm seeing it 100%. Their booking will be gone. Yes, it's already gone. Essentially, but they're going to get to the point where you just scan the document, it's all entered, everything like this, and it's done. We're essentially training our AI replacements right now in QuickBooks, and also we're seeing here that you will own nothing and be happy because everything's going to subscription model. You're not going to be able to buy any of this software. In large part, you already can't. And so they're going to control your data, and you will never be able to buy the desktop version of your software. You will always have to pay a subscription to these software companies. And so they're basically, and especially in accounting, holding your data hostage to where if you want to go ahead and operate, then you're going to have to pay your monthly subscription fee. And you'll never be able to buy the software and own it unless you get some. There are some softwares out there still, but very highly expensive and not for small businesses, for sure. Here's my accounting analysis. Taxation is theft. Indeed, it is. And I tell everybody that. And the large majority of people that pay taxes know that. But what are you going to do? Did I report Danny Warfel resigned, the former commissioner of the IRS? We'll have to keep track of who the new commissioner is. I'm sure Trump's named one, but that's in the back of my head now. And there is no law, as we know from Aaron Russo's great documentary, America, Freedom to Fascism. There is no law that you have to pay individual income tax, but I advise you do, or men with guns eventually will come to your house and put you in a cage. And also they'll rack up untold fines and penalties against you. And so there's been many tax protesters over the years. Some have been successful, but many have not and wound up in prison. And so it is a government extortion racket, essentially. But I would advise to pay your taxes. I mean, it's the price you pay to not be put in a cage for not paying your taxes. And so as sad as it is, that's the current state of affairs here in America. Software as a service should be illegal. You're telling me, man. But that's the way everything's going. And so you're Adobe. I used to, when I was first trained up on the video through Access Television here in Fresno, California, Fresno CMAC, plug, shameless plug there. We still air a weekly show there over the airwaves. Anyway, I was first trained up because, like I said, I was trained. I'm professionally trained through university as a business administrator accountant. But I got my training through the media through Access Television here in Fresno, California, Fresno CMAC, and they trained me up on Adobe Premiere for the video editing and Adobe After Effects and whatnot. And back then, you could buy the desktop software, own it, and you're good to go. And hey, I'm good now. Adobe did away with that a few years ago. And now you have to pay for the subscription. Same thing with the accounting software. QuickBooks, you used to be able to buy it, own it, and you're done. And that was a selling point, not to get too far down that, but that was a selling point. I was also a QuickBooks certified pro advisor at one time, and that would be a selling point to small businesses who are not rich, right? They're small business trying to make it, whatever. They're on a very limited budget, so you would go in there as a QuickBooks pro advisor and sell them QuickBooks, which is a great accounting solution for small businesses. And say, I remember at one time it was like $100, man, $125. You can buy the disc, put it on your desktop. There's your accounting system. We're good to go, man. But now, no, can't do that anymore. Because, like I said, you got to buy these higher versions of it, and the price is going up. I think over the last 4 years, it's literally doubled in price. And so they eventually want to get everybody online, control your data, essentially hold it hostage and make you pay that monthly subscription fee. And it's quite horrific. And so as you see Intuit, they're a dirtbag company, man. They're dirtbags. But, and they lie. They lie. But it is, they've essentially got a monopoly on small business accounting software. There are other softwares out there, but anyway, sorry to go down that rabbit hole with you guys, but my whole point was they want to make all software, regardless of whatever you're using it for, subscription based, so you will own nothing. And I don't think you'll be happy, but I guess a lot of people are happy with that model. And so a la the World Economic Forum, as they told us they're going to do, they're doing it and have been doing it for a while here now. So thank you for everybody tuning in on all the channels. I got different, let me just go through here and make sure nothing's playing quickly so we don't have any of those feedback issues, which I wish I could hear. I don't know why I can't hear it, but anyway, I think I need to restart my machine. Windows is doing the same thing. Windows old Microsoft. They want you on all the subscription stuff for the Windows Office products as well. And they're going to be discontinuing Windows 10 here. And so I'll have no support. And so they literally, my operating system works fine. I mean, they're spying on me fine through Windows, right? But Odyssey has completely signed me out. Yeah, Odyssey has a lot of glitches. But my operating system, Windows 10 works okay. I mean, they get to spy on me, all this, whatever, like this, right? But they're phasing it out, support for it. So they're going to force me on, and everybody, all Windows 10 users, they're going to force us onto Windows 11, which I had on a laptop last year trying to produce a podcast show for, I can't remember their name off the top of my head. Anyway, Windows 11 did not integrate with my software, and it was a giant pain in the ass. And so, anyway, you can't buy something and own it. They will discontinue support on it, as we see here now going forward. Sorry to go down to get that rant going, but I'm sure everybody that deals with software and is old enough to remember when you used to be able to buy it and own it, it lasted for quite a while, but with no problems. But that's no longer the case, sadly. Okay, I'm stopping everything that could potentially be playing here in the background because I want you guys to be able to hear. I want you guys to be able to hear this this documentary, which I think is very well put together. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here now, making sure no video other than the one that we push play on is playing for your viewing pleasure, and then we'll get right to it. Excuse me, as I try to go through this and make sure. I'm pretty sure nothing else is playing, but please let me know. Please let me know if there is something else playing in the background, so you don't have to hear that feedback. We're almost there. I did have quite a few videos up. Some of these are, yeah. Like I said, the war footage from Gaza genocide, it continues on, man. We don't even play the war porn on the show, but anybody can go search it up. It's quite horrific. Okay, so let me give you the intro to this. And as always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Thank you for tuning into this Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Inauguration Day, Weaponized News Monday special. And again, for those tuning in late, I have heard from Simon, and he is alive, and we will hopefully be having him back on this week. But he did tell me that his voice is barely coming back right now. So whatever he got, man, whatever he got, it put him down big time. So anyway, he said he's on the mend, and like I said, hopefully we can get him back on this week when he's feeling up to it. Okay. For those that missed it, I mentioned Simon a few times. So anyway, giving you the latest update that I have on him. He is in recovery now. Okay. This documentary, and it's a long one. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I thought I would break it up into sections as to not bore everybody, but The Road to Scientific Dictatorship, and these two, I think I'll just play these two clips, probably a total of 20 minutes, some odd, something like this. Social Engineering, Eugenics, and Population Control. And I do believe this is from Bertrand Russell writings. And yeah, I think the guys that originally, this is old, this is from like 2008, I want to say. And I want to say, I think that the guys that originally produced this, Brent Jessup at Knowledge Driven Revolution, I think he's since passed away from what I can tell. But to give full credit, Brent Jessup at Knowledge Driven Revolution put this piece together to educate us about the Anglo-American Venetian establishment and two key high-up social engineers in that establishment, Lord Bertrand Russell and Sir Julian Huxley. I think this is specifically Bertrand Russell, this beginning part here, off the top of my head. But anyway, that's what this is going to be focused on. And so enjoy. And this came out, they wrote about this stuff in like 1950s, 40s and 50s. And think about what they're saying back then and the world we have today as enjoy social engineering, eugenics, and population control. Okay, here we go. And we'll be back here tomorrow on Weaponized News. Have a great Monday evening. And thank you guys for tuning in.
It is, I think, fairly clear that a future human body, from the moment of conception, will not be regarded merely as something which must be left to grow in accordance with natural forces, with no human interference beyond what is required for the preservation of health. The tendency of scientific technique is to cause everything to be regarded as not just a brute datum, but raw material for the carrying out of some human purpose. The child, and even the embryo, will come to be viewed more and more in this way as the mentality connected with scientific technique becomes more dominant. In this, as in all other forms of scientific power, there are possibilities of good and possibilities of evil. Science alone will not decide which is to prevail. Bertrand Russell, 1931.
Reading the governing class. From the scientific outlook. Science, when it has once acquired a firm hold upon social organization, is hardly likely to stop short at those biological aspects of human life which have hitherto been left to the joint guidance of religion and instinct. We may, I think, assume that both the quantity and the quality of the population will be carefully regulated by the state, but that sexual intercourse apart from children will be regarded as a private matter so long as it is not allowed to interfere with work. As regards quantity, the state statisticians will determine as carefully as they can whether the population of the world at the moment is above or below the number which leads to the greatest material comfort per head. They will also take account of all such changes of technique as can be foreseen. No doubt the usual rule will be to aim at a stationary population, but if some important invention, such as artificial food, should greatly cheapen the production of necessaries, and increase a population might for a time be thought wise. I shall, however, assume that, in normal times, the world government will decree a stationary population. If we were right in supposing that the scientific society will have different social grades according to the kind of work to be performed, we may assume also that it will have uses for human beings who are not of the highest grade of intelligence. It is probable that there will be certain kinds of labor mainly performed by Negroes, and that manual workers in general will be bred for patience and muscle rather than for brains. The governors and experts, on the contrary, will be bred chiefly for their intellectual powers and their strength of character. Assuming that both kinds of breeding are scientifically carried out, there will come to be an increasing divergence between the two types, making them in the end almost different species. Scientific breeding, in any truly scientific form, would at present encounter insuperable obstacles both from religion and from sentiment. To carry it out scientifically it would be necessary, as among domestic animals, to employ only a small percentage of males for purposes of breeding. It may be thought that religion and sentiment will always succeed in opposing an immovable veto to such a system. I wish I could think so. But I believe that sentiment is quite extraordinarily plastic, and that the individualistic religion to which we have been accustomed is likely to be increasingly replaced by a religion of devotion to the state. Among Russian communists this has already happened. In any case, what is demanded is scarcely as difficult a control of natural impulses as is involved in the celibacy of the Catholic priesthood. Wherever remarkable achievements are possible and are at the same time such as to satisfy men's moral idealism, the love of power is capable of swallowing up the instinctive life of the affections, especially if an outlet is permitted to purely physical sexual impulses. Traditional religion, which has been violently dispossessed in Russia, will suffer a setback everywhere if the Russian experiment proves successful. In any case, its outlook is difficult to reconcile with that of industrialism and scientific technique. Traditional religion was based upon a sense of man's impotence in the face of natural forces, whereas scientific technique induces a sense of the impotence of natural forces in the face of man's intelligence. Combined with this sense of power, a certain degree of austerity in regard to the softer pleasures is quite natural. One sees it already in many of those who are creating the mechanistic society of the future. In America, this austerity has taken the form of Protestant piety, in Russia of devotion to communism. I think, therefore, that there is hardly any limit to the departures from traditional sentiment which science may introduce into the question of reproduction. If the simultaneous regulation of quantity and quality is taken seriously in the future, we may expect that in each generation some 25% of women and some 5% of men will be selected to be the parents of the next generation, while the remainder of the population will be sterilized, which will in no way interfere with their sexual pleasures, but will merely render these pleasures destitute of social importance. The women who are selected for breeding will have to have 8 or 9 children each, but will not be expected to perform any other work except the suckling of the children for a suitable number of months. No obstacles will be placed upon their relations with sterile men, or upon the relations of sterile men and women with each other, but reproduction will be regarded as a matter which concerns the state, and will not be left to the free choice of the persons concerned. Perhaps it will be found that artificial impregnation is more certain and less embarrassing, since it will obviate the need of any personal contact between the father and mother of the prospective child. Sentiments of personal affection may still be connected with intercourse not intended to be fruitful, while impregnation will be regarded in an entirely different manner, more in the light of a surgical operation, so that it will be thought not ladylike to have it performed in the natural manner. The qualities for which parents will be chosen will differ greatly according to the status which it is hoped the child will occupy. In the governing class, a considerable degree of intelligence will be demanded of parents. Perfect health will, of course, be indispensable. So long as gestation is allowed to persist to its natural period, mothers will also have to be selected by their capacity for easy delivery, and will therefore have to be free from an unduly narrow pelvis. It is probable, however, that as time goes on the period of gestation will be shortened, and that later months of fetal development will take place in an incubator. This would also free mothers from the need of suckling their children, and would thus make maternity a not very onerous matter. The care of infants intended to belong to the governing class would seldom be left to the mothers. Mothers would be selected by their eugenic qualities, and these would not necessarily be the qualities required in a nurse. On the other hand, the early months of pregnancy might be more burdensome than at present, since the fetus would be subjected to various kinds of scientific treatment intended to affect beneficially not only its own characteristics but those of its possible descendants. Fathers would, of course, have nothing to do with their own children. There would be in general only one father to every 5 mothers, and it is quite likely that he would never have even seen the mothers of his children. The sentiment of paternity would thus disappear completely. Probably in time the same thing would happen, though to a slightly less degree, in regard to mothers. If birth were prematurely induced, and the child separated from its mother at birth, maternal sentiment would have little chance to develop. Breeding the working class. Among the workers it is probable that less elaborate care would be taken, since it is easier to breed for muscle than to breed for brains, and it is not unlikely that women would be allowed to bring up their own children in the old-fashioned natural manner. There would not be, among the workers, the same need as among the governors for fanatical devotion to the state, and there would not be, therefore, on the part of the government, the same jealousy of the private affections. Among the governors, one must suppose, all private sentiments would be viewed with suspicion. A man and woman who showed any ardent devotion to each other would be regarded as they are at present regarded by moralists when they are not married. There would be professional nurses in creches, and professional teachers in nursery schools, but they would be considered to be failing in their duty if they felt any special affection for special children. Children who showed any special affection for a particular adult would be separated from that adult. Ideas of this kind are already widespread. They will be found suggested, for example, in Dr. John B. Watson's book on education. The tendency of the scientific manipulator is to regard all private affections as unfortunate. Freudians have shown us that they are the sources of complexes. Administrators realize that they stand in the way of a wholehearted devotion to business. The church sanctions certain kinds of love while condemning others, but the modern ascetic is more thoroughgoing, and condemns all kinds of love equally as mere folly and waste of time. What should we expect of the mental makeup of people in such a world? The manual workers may, I think, be fairly happy. One may assume that the rulers will be successful in making the manual workers foolish and frivolous. Work will not be too severe, and there will be endless amusements of a trivial sort. Owing to sterilization, love affairs need not have awkward consequences so long as they are not between a man and woman who are both of them unsterilized. In this way a life of easygoing and frivolous pleasure may be provided for the manual workers, combined of course with a superstitious reverence for the governors instilled in childhood and prolonged by the propaganda to which adults will be exposed. The psychology of the governors will be a more difficult matter. They will be expected to display an arduous and hard-working devotion to the ideal of the scientific state, and to sacrifice to this ideal all the softer sentiments such as love of wife and children. Friendships between fellow workers, whether of the same or of different sexes, will tend to become ardent, and will not infrequently overstep the limits which the public moralists will have fixed. In such a case the authorities will separate the friends, unless in doing so they will interrupt some important research or administrative undertaking. When for some such public reason friends are not separated, they will be admonished. By means of governmental microphones the censors will listen into their conversations, and if these should at any time become tinged with sentiment, disciplinary measures will be adopted. All the deeper feelings will be frustrated, with the sole exception of devotion to science and the state. The governors will, of course, have their amusements for leisure hours. I do not see how art or literature could flourish in such a world, nor do I think that the emotions from which they spring and to which they appeal would meet with governmental approval, but athletics of a strenuous kind will be encouraged among the young of the governing class, and dangerous sports will be considered valuable as a training in those habits of mind and body by which authority over the manual workers will be maintained. Love-making among the sterilized will be subjected to no restrictions either of law or of public opinion, but it will be casual and temporary, involving none of the deeper feelings and no serious affection. Persons suffering from unendurable boredom will be encouraged to ascend Mount Everest or fly over the South Pole, but the need for such distractions will be regarded as a sign of mental or physical ill health. In such a world, though there may be pleasure, there will be no joy. The result will be a type displaying the usual characteristics of vigorous ascetics. They will be harsh and unbending, tending towards cruelty in their ideals, and their readiness to consider that the infliction of pain is necessary for the public good. I do not imagine that pain will be much inflicted as punishment for sin, since no sin will be recognized except in subordination and failure to carry out the purposes of the state. It is more probable that the sadistic impulses which the asceticism will generate will find their outlet in scientific experiment. The advancement of knowledge will be held to justify much torture of individuals by surgeons, biochemists, and experimental psychologists. As time goes on, the amount of added knowledge required to justify a given amount of pain will diminish, and the number of governors attracted to the kinds of research necessitating cruel experiments will increase. Just as the sun worship of the Aztecs demanded the painful death of thousands of human beings annually, so the new scientific religion will demand its holocausts of sacred victims. Gradually the world will grow more dark and more terrible. Strange perversions of instinct will first lurk in the dark corners and then gradually overwhelm the men in high places. Sadistic pleasures will not suffer the moral condemnation that will be meted out to the softer joys, since, like the persecutions of the Inquisition, they will be found in harmony with the prevailing asceticism. In the end such a system must break down either in an orgy of bloodshed or in the rediscovery of joy. Such at least is the only ray of hope to lighten the darkness of these visions of Cassandra, but perhaps in permitting this ray of hope we have allowed ourselves to yield to a foolish optimism. Perhaps by means of injections and drugs and chemicals the population could be induced to bear whatever its scientific masters may decide to be for its good. New forms of drunkenness involving no subsequent headache may be discovered, and new forms of intoxication may be invented so delicious that for their sakes these are possibilities in a world governed by knowledge without love, and power without delight. The man drunk with power is destitute of wisdom, and so long as he rules the world will be a place devoid of beauty and of joy. Scientific technique and the abolition of the family. Take again such a matter as housing. In England, individualism leads most families to prefer a small house of their own rather than an apartment in a large house. The result is that the suburbs of London are spread out through mile after mile of dreariness, to the immense detriment of the women and children. Each housewife cooks an abominable dinner at great expenditure of labor for an infuriated husband. The children, when they come home from school, or while they are too young to go to school, find themselves cooped up in small stuffy premises where either they are a nuisance to their parents or their parents are a nuisance to them. In a more sensible community, each family would occupy a part of an immense building with a courtyard in the middle. There would be no individual cooking, but only communal meals. Children, as soon as they were no longer at the breast, would spend their day in large airy halls under the care of women possessing the knowledge, the training, and the temperament required for making young children happy. The wives, who at present drudge all day doing wasteful work badly, would be set free to earn their living outside the home. The benefit of such a system to the mothers, and still more to the children, would be incalculable. At the Rachel Macmillan Nursery School it was found that about 90% of the children had rickets when they first came, and almost all were cured at the end of the first year in the school. In the ordinary home the necessary modicum of light and air and good food cannot be provided, whereas all these things can be provided quite cheaply if they are provided for many children at once. The freedom to cause one's children to grow up stunted and crippled on the ground that one is too fond of them to part with them is a freedom which is certainly not in the public interest. This very same idea was put into action by Mao Zedong and the Communist Chinese during their Great Leap Forward. This was another step towards creating a truly global scientific society. The below quote is from historian Carol Quigley in his 1966 book Tragedy and Hope: A History of the World in Our Time. The third stage of agrarian reform, constituting the basic feature of the Great Leap Forward, merged the 750,000 collective farms into about 26,000 agrarian communes of about 5,000 families each. This was a social rather than simply an agrarian revolution, since its aims included the destruction of the family household and the peasant village. All activities of the members, including child rearing, education, entertainment, social life, the militia, and all economic and intellectual life came under the control of the commune. In some areas the previous villages were destroyed and the peasants were housed in dormitories, with communal kitchens and mess halls, nurseries for the children, and separation of these children under the commune's control and isolation from their parents at an early age. One purpose of this drastic change was to release large numbers of women from domestic activities so that they could labor in fields or factories. In the first year of the Great Leap Forward, 90 million peasant women were relieved of their domestic duties and became available to work for the state. In many cases, factories and craft centers were established in the communes to use this labor, manufacturing goods not only for the commune but for sale in the outside market. One of the chief aims of this total reorganization of rural life was to make available, for savings and investment, surpluses of agricultural income from the rural sector of Chinese society in order to build up the industrial sector. The regime estimated that it could reverse the previous division of agricultural incomes, under which 70% was consumed by the agricultural population and only 30% was available to the non-agricultural sectors of Chinese society. At the same time, it was expected that the communes would totally shatter the resistant social structure of Chinese society, leaving isolated individuals to face the power of the state. Finally, it was expected that these isolated individuals could be mobilized along military lines to carry out agricultural duties in squads and platoons assigned to specific fields and tasks.